Hello all with you channel Animal Planet, with a new collection of interesting facts about animals. This time we'll talk about brown bears. And here we go. Interesting facts about brown bears. Brown bear habitats are almost everywhere. It can be seen in Asia and Europe, as well as in North America. The genus of bears appeared 5 to 6 million years ago. Its first representative is currently considered to be the Ursus minimus bear, a relatively small animal whose fossils were found on the territory of France. The brown bear looks very impressive and original, a huge powerful body with a high proud withers. His head is very large, but his eyes and ears are small. The lifespan of a bear can reach 30 years. However, according to verified data, there was one bear who lived in captivity with a farmer for as long as 47 years. But this fact is unique. Recently, quite often bears can be observed in the taiga, among coniferous old trees, rivers, and near swamps. Bears have very powerful paws. They have huge claws, the length of which reaches up to 20 centimeters in length. Bears have very good eyesight, but their hearing and sense of smell are even better. Therefore, they can easily notice their prey and hear its approach. North America is considered a bear continent. A third of all bears live there. Bears rarely attack people, considering them to be an unusual animal with unusual manners and gestures. Since 1994, an exhibition of teddy bears has been held annually in Munster. The color of the fur, as well as the size, depends on its habitat and has a color from light brown to black. Depending on where the brown bear lives, its rather large size and original appearance change. All kinds of bears are incredibly smart. These animals are very inquisitive, always trying to explore new and unusual objects, have a very good memory. The fastest way to determine the intentions of bears is to observe the fur on the back of the neck. Of all wild animals, bears are closest to humans in their psychology. The word bear is common Slavic, meaning eats honey. The bear is one of those lucky ones that a person learns about from the cradle. It seems that there is not a single animal about which there would be so many stories and fairy tales. The brown bear is a fickle animal. In one place it feeds, in another it sleeps, and for mating it can move away from the usual habitat for several kilometers. The largest and most powerful bears live in Alaska and Kamchatka. The weight of these bears reaches 300 to 350 kilograms. Bears can run at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. If you compare it with a person, then the fastest and most enduring person can run at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. The sight of bears is as good as that of humans, and their sense of smell and hearing are much better developed. Malay bears are the smallest species of this animal. The cult of the bear existed among the Slavs and Germans, among the indigenous peoples of the northern Urals, Siberia, and the Far East. The Mansi, Kets, and Nivks had a widespread idea of the bear as the ancestor of humans, and therefore, the animal was especially revered. The color of the bear's coat is uniform, the fur is very thick. By the way, bears have 2 layers of wool, one is short, it retains and keeps warm, the other is long, it protects the bear's skin from water. Bears are very smart, having found a trap with bait in the forest. They roll stones there so that the trap closes, and they take the bait for themselves and eat it. The bear eats a variety of foods, vegetable, animal food, loves fish very much. Bears often destroy anthills, get larvae, and eat them. The bear loves vegetable food very much, it feeds on wild cherry, aspen, and when berries appear, it eats cranberries, blueberries, raspberries with pleasure. Bears love ripe oats, they also actively consume nuts, acorns, apples. The bear loves to spend time in the meadow, eat grass like a cow or a horse. He picks the grass with his paw and sends it into his mouth. Bears feel very good in the water, swim well and can fish with their paws for food. Therefore, they prefer to live in old forests with the obligatory presence of a river in them. The brown bear marks his possessions. Only he can hunt here. He marks the borders in a special way, tearing the bark from the trees. In areas without plantings, the bear can rip off objects that are in his field of vision, rocks, slopes. The life of brown bears is in search of food, especially before hibernation. Before going to sleep, the beast diligently obfuscates its tracks, it walks through swamps, loops, circles and even goes backwards. The closest relatives of bears are foxes, dogs, wolves. Bears are called club-footed because they rely on either 2 left paws or 2 right paws. At the moment of their walking, it seems that they are waddling. Omnivore and endurance are the main qualities that help this beast survive in difficult conditions. In the diet of the brown bear, 75% is vegetable food. The life of a brown bear living in Russia begins in a den where newborn cubs, blind, toothless, and almost hairless, weighing about 500 grams, feed on their mother's fat milk. At the age of 4 months, wild bears can already follow their mother into the forest in search of food. Mother bear during this period feeds them with milk and teaches them proper social behavior. The cubs spend almost half of their waking hours playing games. This is how they get to know the world around them and develop important skills necessary for hunting. The rest of the time is spent in search of food and sleep. In their youth, bears climb trees well. In old age, they do it reluctantly. Finally, the cubs are separated from their mother at 3 to 4 years of life. During hibernation, all waste products in the bear's body are reprocessed and converted into valuable proteins necessary for its existence. The rectum is closed by a dense plug consisting of needles, compressed grass, and wool. It is removed after the animal leaves the den. The den of brown bears. All winter the brown bear sleeps on its side, comfortably curled up. Poses on the back or sitting, with the lowered head, are less often observed. Breathing and heart rate slow down during hibernation. The clumsiness of bears is deceptive. When danger arises, they very easily start into a gallop and can easily catch up with a person. The bear has a hard time in the spring, after hibernation. At this time of the year, the bear hunts hoofed animals, roe deer or moose, and if there is a lack of food for him, he can even eat carrion. The bear's legs are crooked. Thanks to this defect, the bear can climb trees very well. Bears are not susceptible to bee stings. The spectacled bear. Spectacled bears live in South America. 412 to 20 kilograms of bamboo can be eaten by an adult panda at a time. Usually the bear gives offspring once every 2 years. The older cubs, mostly sisters, often look after the younger ones. The following fact testifies to the mental abilities of brown bears. They know by memory everything in their neighborhood glades with berries, fruits, and mushrooms, and know when they will ripen. Having regained strength after a long sleep, brown bears are ready to mate. The rut begins in the spring, in May, and lasts about a month. Females notify of their readiness for mating with a special secret that has a strong smell. By these marks, males find their chosen ones and protect them from rivals. Even in ancient times, bears were depicted on coins. Approximately this happened in 150 BC. Bears are very dangerous during the mating season. They make a wild roar and can attack a person. The bear chooses the winter shelter with special care. For dens, reliable quiet places are chosen, located on the borders of swamps, in windbreaks, on the banks of rivers, in secluded caves. The shelter should be dry, warm, spacious, and safe. The bear equips his den with moss, laying out a soft litter from it. The shelter is masked and insulated with tree branches. Very often, a bear has been using a good den for several years. Before going into hibernation, the bear must gain the necessary amount of fat reserve. If it is not enough, the animal has to wander further in search of food. From this came the name, connecting rod. Sometimes there are fierce fights between two bears for a female, in which the fate, and sometimes the life of one of them, is decided. In the event of the death of one of the males, the winner may even eat him. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell and watch other videos on my channel.